me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me?
With your host, Brandon Tierney. In 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everybody? BT Unleashed, a special version, a little special edition. It's cold outside. It's snowing, so I'm going to warm things up here with some new content. I'm going to do my all-time New York Yankee lineup from 1980 forward. Two stipulations, obviously, one of which I just said. You had to play for the Yankees from 1980 or beyond, and you had to play for at least 1 year, for more than 1 year. So Juan Soto, not eligible, all right? That's the objective there, 1 through 9. Take you around the diamond. Yeah, we've got a DH, and obviously I'm going to try to get the best combination of hitting prowess and speed and IQ and try to really get this to mesh defensively as well. So with that being said, if you're looking for a leadoff hitter for my post-1980s all-time Yankee lineup, why not start with the greatest leadoff hitter in the history of baseball? There's no other way to go. I don't care what team you're doing. I don't care what you're talking about, what generation. The answer obviously is Rickey Henderson. Rickey Henderson's my leadoff guy. So what I'm going to do for each one of these players, I went back and I picked their best year with the Yankees. So as I look at Rickey, and of course we all know Rickey, just a broad snapshot, greatest leadoff hitter, 1 million steals, power. But I'm going to actually go to Rickey's 85 season with the Yankees, his first year with the Pinstripers, right? Third in the MVP voting, 9.9 WAR, stole 80 bases, had 146 runs scored, many of which, by the way, came from Don Mattingly. We'll see if Donnie gets any love here. I'm pretty sure that he will. 314 batting average Rickey had, and he also had 24 home runs. So while Rickey was looking to get on base, and he obviously, with that crouch and that really tough stance that was hard on pitchers to manipulate the strike zone, he was cool taking his walks. But with that power, you leave something over the heart of the plate, and Rickey jumps on it. Rickey had that pop to send it deep as well. So 5 years with the Yankees, 85, just about 85 through most of 1989, greatest leadoff hitter of all time, sets the tone. So now the question is, we move from the leadoff man to the number 2 spot. And what am I looking for? I'm looking for a high contact rate. I'm looking for a high average. I'm looking for somebody who can run. I'm looking for somebody who's clutch. I'm looking for somebody who has a propensity to go the other way to set up those first and third situations. That's somebody, of course, the great Derek Jeter, number 2, playing shortstop right there. So with Jeter, I'm going to go to 1999 and take that season where Derek finished 6th in the MVP, had a healthy WAR of 8, banged out 219 hits, batted .349. Derek Jeter did with a .990 OPS and scored 134 runs. Hall of Famer, Rookie of the Year, 14-time All-Star. And you look at, it's really amazing if you think about trying to navigate these first 2 spots in the order. You got Rickey. We know what Rickey represents. Now you got Jeter with basically 3,500 hits and as clutch and as solid. He could even drop down a bunt, obviously hit the other way, as I said, which sets up the table for the number 3 hitter. And I'm looking for somebody with juice, obviously, somebody who's not going to strike out a ton. And it's going to be my guy, number 23, vintage, healthy, pre-back injury, that guy, Donnie Baseball. And now I could have gone with 86 when Mattingly should have won the MVP and he finished second to Roger Clemens. I could have gone 84, his first real full season when he won the batting title. I'm going to settle on 1985 when he won the MVP and he had a WAR over 6, won his first Gold Glove, had 211 hits. And by the way, look at this. Mattingly led the league, right? 48 doubles, 145 RBIs, and also led the league in 370 total bases. Oh, yeah, by the way, if you try to get cute with Donnie, there's 35 home runs for you, 324 average. And the thing that makes this incredible for me is that in 1985, Mattingly struck out 41 times. So you got Rickey on base running wild. You got Jeter getting fastballs because they're trying to throw Rickey out, stealing, and Derek doing whatever he does. And then when that doesn't really work out, you have a guy, pre-back injury coming up, basically a modern Stan Musial with 1 or 2 guys on the palm getting fastballs. Don Mattingly, number 3. Rickey, Jeter, Mattingly, which now sets it up too. And this is the easiest call of the day for me. I'll say, well, Rickey's pretty easy as well. Number 4, the great Aaron Judge. So Rickey, let's deal with that. Let's deal with Jeets. Let's deal with vintage Mattingly. And oh yeah, by the way, now you're gonna have to feed Judge fastballs because there's everybody on base. And I'm gonna go with Aaron's 2022 season where he had a WAR of 10.8 and he won the MVP. We all know that, right? But listen to these categories that he led the league in: runs, home runs, RBIs. OPS plus was 210, which is freakishly good. 391 total bases, 111 walks, obviously, a cannon in right field, a plus defender. So we will just very seamlessly go from Ricky to Jeter to Mattingly to Aaron Judge, 3-time MVP. Could have had a fourth if the Astros didn't cheat. I'm sure he's going to get another one before it's all said and done. Now, we've got the first four hitters set up for my all-time post-1980s Yankees lineup. What about the 5 spot? And it's funny, I thought about this. I'm like, okay, I know I know this guy's on my team. I know he's going to be prominently featured in the order. I thought maybe mess around and put this guy number 2 instead, and maybe put Jeter at the bottom, kind of have a second leadoff hitter. Instead, I'm going A-Rod, number 5, right behind Aaron Judge. Third base, Alex Rodriguez. Let's go back to the 2007 season. Alex led the league in WAR, runs, homers, ribbies. Also had 24 steals, had 376 total bases. OPS, think about this. He had 54 home runs and 156 RBIs, and his OPS plus was 176. Think about the OPS plus number I just gave you for Aaron Judge, 210. I mean, think about that. Also, Alex did hit 314 that year. 3-time MVP. Obviously, I had some issues with the steroids, but Alex, to me, behind Aaron Judge, when he was still can move a little bit, still, a fairly young ball player, Alex Rodriguez in the number 5 spot. Now, it's changed over the years. I don't get overly worked up with you can't have 2 or 3 lefties in a row. I don't really believe in that, especially somebody like Mattingly, who's not going to strike out at all, guys like that. But if I could find a switch hitter who obviously fits the criteria to supplement and complement this entire lineup here, well, to me, I found one, batting 6, playing center field, number 51. Let's give it up. Bernie Williams is my number 6 hitter. And I'm going to go back to Bernie's 1999 season, where he had a WAR of over 5, scored 116 runs, banged out 200-plus hits, 25 home runs, 115 ribbies, a 342 average, a Gold Glove, and an OPS of 970. So if there's anything like, all right, a couple of guys on base, and maybe you pitch around Aaron Judge, well, you better make sure you've got the proper lefty or righty in there. And even if you do, Bernie flips around. He hits from the other side. Very circular lineup, which is what I'm looking for. Bernie can obviously run. And that's the other thing, too. Before I get to my 7, 8, 9, bottom third, might be some prizes there for you. Some surprises for you. When you think about Ricky, flew, Jeter, plus speed, Donnie couldn't run. But, I mean, obviously Aaron Judge is a semi-plus runner. Getting older now, but still a fairly plus runner. And you get to the 5 hole with A-Rod, who can run, and Bernie, who was a gazelle in the 6 spot. You got a bunch of dudes that can run, a lot of guys who put the bat on the ball, lower strikeout rates, power. They beat you every which way up and down the lineup. Gold Glovers, monstrous OPSs. Now, this one, I will admit, this one's tricky. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, Reggie's not on my team. Reggie Jackson is not on my team. And I think that that's going to really cause some, at least consternation for some of you. Now, Reggie did most of his magic, 77, 78, obviously was here in 79, was with the Yankees in 80, with the short strike, the shortened season in 1981, 5 years. Then he bounced out and he went to the Angels in 82. And I don't have anything against Reggie, but Reggie was not a good fielder. So although my next guy in the number 7 spot is Dave Windfield, Windfield was a better runner. And I just think that I know the 81 World Series was terrible. Again, I understand that this is inviting criticism with no Reg. But, I'm going to go back to Winfield's 84 season, finished second in the batting race behind Don Mattingly, batted 340, runner-up, 5.3 WAR, scored over 100 runs, Gold Glove, by the way. So if you got to do a little, replacement or swap in the outfield, whatever it might be, Winnie, unlike Reggie, could go and play pretty much anywhere but center field. And early on, Winnie wouldn't kill you in center. 100 RBIs, Gold Glove out there, 7-time Gold Glove winner, 22 years, Hall of Famer, 9 of which came with the Yankees, had almost 1,900 RBIs, over 3,000 knocks. So I'm going from, think about this, a prime Alex Rodriguez, or pretty much prime Alex Rodriguez in 07 to absolute prime Bernie in 99 to still prime Dave Winfield in 84. I mean, that is amazing. All right, let's get to the 8 spot here. You need a catcher. All right, so this is obviously post-1980. Thurman Munson's not part of that of the equation here. There's only one choice, and it's obviously the great, wildly underrated, not underappreciated by Yankee fans, obviously, but underrated great catcher. I just don't understand why he didn't get any sort of love with the Hall of Fame. Jorge Posada, absolute motor, absolute beast. And I'm going to go to the 2003 season for Jorge Posada. That's the year that the Yankees lost the World Series to the Florida Marlins. Now, what did he do that year? Jorge finished third in the MVP. He won the Silver Slugger, had a WAR just below 6, cranked out 30 bombs, had 101 ribbies. And oh, yeah, by the way, for a catcher, had an OPS of 922. 17 brilliant years with the Yankees, 4-time World Series champion, 5 All-Stars, 5 Silver Sluggers, over 1,000 RBIs, and an OPS of 848. How in the world is Jorge Posada? Again, not to be redundant, I just don't know how he doesn't get the love on the national level when you get away from the New York Yankee bubble, and how he didn't get more traction with the Hall of Fame. All right, we're left with one spot. I think some of you might protest this a little bit, maybe. Could have gone Willie Randolph, obviously a very good second baseman. Maybe some of you would have thought Chuck Knobloch. That Nobby was never even remotely in my consideration, all due respect. And while I love Willie, and I know Willie, and Willie was a hell of a ball player, good bunter, good fielder, champion, there's only one answer here. Bat ninth, bottom third, round out this sick lineup. How about Robbie Cano? What do you know? Robbie Cano, Robinson Cano. Now, I'm going to use Robbie's 2010 season. Third in the MVP vote, Gold Glove, 914 OPS, 29 bombs, 109 ribbies, 200 hits, 41 doubles. Didn't strike out a ton, scored over 100 runs, 17 years, obviously like Alex and others in the game, tainted with some steroid stuff. 9 years with the Yankees, though, 335 home runs, over 1,300 RBIs. Think about that for Robinson Cano, and, of course, a 2009 champion. So now we get to that's the order 1 through 9. Before we actually get to the omissions and the really, I think there's probably 3 or 4 debatable points. Let's get the whole lineup up there and let's just rock it down and run it through once more. Ricky batting first, playing left. I've got Jeter. Again, this is post 1980. Got Derek in the 2-stop, obviously playing short. Healthy, vintage, prime, awesome MVP. Don Mattingly batting third at first base. Gold Glover as well. In the 4 spot, future Hall of Famer, the transcendent, amazing, superhuman Aaron Judge in right field batting fourth. How about A-Rod? Couple of MVPs with the Yankees, 3 in all. A 2009 champion, could pick it, moving over from shortstop, could still run a little bit at this point. In the 6th spot to pick up Alex, in the rare event that Alex doesn't get it done. How about a little switch hitter with pop and with wheels? That is the great Bernie Williams, a 4-time champion himself. In the 7-hole, DH Dave Windfield, power, average, finished second to Mattingly back in 84, as I said, for that batting crown. And listen, if you do have to do some sort of a switch here, you put Winnie in left, you put Winnie in right, you get away with it. Winfield was a plus outfielder with a cannon, like Barfield, Roberto Clemente type of cannon. Behind the plate, batting 8th, the switch hitting. This guy's got the juice, too. He was kind of the motor for those Yankee teams, like that energizer, Jorge Posada. And then to wrap it up in the 9th spot, have fun dealing with Robinson Cano with over 330 lifetime home runs and over 1,300 RBIs as a second baseman batting 9th. Now, I'm going to do the Mets coming up within the next week or so. I'm looking at this lineup, and I don't think, including the Dodgers with Ohtani and whatever other iteration you want to use, or the Oakland A's, a couple of Bash brothers, maybe throwing Giambi later on from those later A's teams, Tejada as a shortstop who was tremendous. I don't know how you beat that lineup. Let's get that lineup up there once more. Look at this lineup again. Hall of Famer, would have been a Hall of Famer, back went out. Hall of Famer, if not the greatest righty hitter and maybe the best player ever, and maybe the best Yankee ever in Aaron Judge. Would have been a Hall of Famer if he didn't get wrapped up in the steroid stuff. Bernie, borderline Hall of Famer, but a champion, batting crown winner, switch hitter, can field. Windfield, 3,000 knocks, Hall of Famer. Posada should have been a Hall of Famer, or at least a little bit more love there. And Robinson Cano would have been a Hall of Famer if he didn't get wrapped up in that stuff as well. So that's the lineup, 1 through 9. BT's all-time Yankee lineup, post-1980. All right, well, if you just tune in, where's Juan Soto? Soto was great with Aaron Judge. He was. And if Juan Soto would have elected to stay with the Yankees, he would have been on this list. Not that I'm penalizing him, but I didn't want a guy who was here 1 year, to be on the to be on that list there. Now, have a little fun. If he was here only for the year and I didn't have the rule that I set forth for myself, where would Juan Soto bat? My God. I mean, I don't know. But imagine if you actually threw Juan Soto in there. Now, glaring omissions. I mentioned Reggie, all right, 77, 78 World Series champion. And he played 2 years in the 80s. Then he bounced out to California with the Angels, where he got his 500th home run. The three names that are much more recent than that, I thought about Paul O'Neill, I thought about Tino Martinez, and I thought about Mark Teixeira. In all honesty, I am probably a little slanted because Mattingly certainly my all-time favorite player, but I do believe I'm able to and capable of leaving bias at the door. Like, I'm not just putting Mattingly there because he's my guy. You know, if you saw peak Mattingly, he really was Stan Musial. And as great as Tino was and as great as Teixeira was early on with the Yankees, both champions, Teixeira, a great switch-hitting, fielding first baseman. You know, he just didn't do what Donnie did back in the mid-'80s. He just didn't do it. Neither did Tino. You know, Tino was never going to hit 320, 330, 340 with all those ribbies and gold gloves. It was just a drop-off. Now, I thought about, you know, I was trying to come up with a configuration. Okay, can I put Reggie at the DH, which I certainly could, and then what do I do? I thought about putting Ricky in center, okay? And then he obviously played some, not a great defensive player, but you know, good enough. Putting Ricky in center, putting Windfield in right, putting Windfield in left, keeping Judge in right, and DHing Reggie. But I just could not justify holding Bernie Williams out of this lineup. I think he's in a good spot. You want to tell me you want to flip Winnie 6, put Bernie 7? I'm fine with that. You want to tell me you want to maybe, and I thought about this for a minute, maybe drop Derek down to that, 9 spot and then bump up Cano to 8, and then everybody kind of goes up 1 spot, and maybe have A-Rod in the two hole, or even Aaron Judge where he hits a lot now, or even Mattingly is a high contact guy. There's different variations to do it, obviously, but that's what I came up with. There were a couple of tough ones. You know, Reggie was one, O'Neill was the other one, Tino was the other one, and of course, Mark Teixeira, as we could get that lineup down there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Pretty good stuff. I've already got something cooking for the Big East, which I will drop the day before the Big East tournament. I am deep into my research and deep into my construction of my all-time Mets lineup. And that's it. Left field's a tough spot for me there. For the most part, it's fairly identifiable. I think the trickiest thing with the Mets is going to be the lineup. Like, where do I slot these guys? But that's coming. I'll do a little something on the Knicks as we get to the playoffs, and obviously Jets and Giants, and some other stuff as we get a little closer to the start of football and all that stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. A little bit of a quick hitter, very different from the BT Live, Monday through Friday, Unleashed Live, of course, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Appreciate you guys checking this out. Like it, subscribe it, get it out there. Let's get that social media traction. What do you disagree with? What do you want to push back on? Hit the comments, bang the like button. Let's get after it. Hey, it's snowing outside. I figured I would drop this today and let everybody have a little bit of fun and let our thoughts turn to warmer days and baseball days. So hopefully you enjoyed this. I will catch you Monday, of course, on BT Unleashed Live at 10. In the meantime, have some fun with this. It's almost baseball season, and I'll catch you soon. Thank you.
This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me?
With your host,